This bullshit.
Yeah, I remember this now.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you ended it.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah!
A lot of people idolize their children. You hear them talking about their kids and just the way they talk, their fucking voices make me want to vomit. My angel likes to read, and little Johnny is so good on the piano. Fuck those people! You give up 9 months of your life carrying them, you traumatize yourself giving birth to them, and then you spend the rest of your life as their slave. Wiping asses, mopping up piss, feeding them. Little life-sucking monsters who take and take and take until... we all go insane. Any parent who pretends otherwise is just dishonest. That's called choice supportive bias. I am honest.
Hell yeah!
Mom really grinds my gears, and he owes me everything. Everything. It served the little fuck right if I just abandoned him.
Damn.
Okay, so while I don't like kids,
Mm-hmm.
that's a very unhealthy perspective for a parent to have.
Yeah.
If you're a parent and you have that perspective about your kid, put the poor little bastard up for adoption. Let him have a better
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't like kids, the kid doesn't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to write this one. Never got around to do it before.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Roller coaster.
Oh, tell me it doesn't have a loopy loop. Please? Please? Please?
It doesn't look like it does.
If it doesn't, pressing the hell out. Oh, I don't. No, no, thank you. Mm.
You have to progress, honey.
No. Let me go become one with the Swedes. I don't want to do this bullshit no more.
You have to progress, honey.
Mm.
You got this, my love. Good girl.
Mm. Oh, that no. Oh, hell no. 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 No.
What do you want?
We need to talk about Callum.
What do you mean? What have you done to him?
That's insulting. You and your boy are everything that this place doesn't want. The antithesis of what we stand for.
Where?
Wait, can you guys hear the demo, Tay?
I haven't been watching stream side. I've just got chat open,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know.
This type of game I can't set really well because it pauses the audio.
Trail of breadcrumbs. But the
Hmm.
path is just so
Who is your character talking to?
I'm.
which has a
Oh, there's somebody behind you.
What?
no happy ending here, I'm afraid.
Just
It's a
What's down at your
tiny.
hands?
Okay, one moment. It's a
Oh,
tiny bit quiet. Okay.
sorry.
leave me alone.
Fool. You always
See,
Oh.
there's another set of arms around you. Oh, flashing lights. Yeah. A hospital. Interesting.
Okay. Not safe. And then we that one. But the voice said the wish had him.
I know nothing about this game, but I genuinely think Callum has been dead from the very start.
Uh,
And we're just chasing ghosts. I genuinely think we're just chasing ghosts.
see, the only thing I know about this game is what I think I watched Multiplier play.
The witch awaits.
So I'm gonna be very honest. I kind of remember the ending, but the thing is, I only remember the ending because a lot of people, when this came out, talked about the ending. It
Mhm.
was a heavy discussing,
So it's a heavy ending.
very heavy. It, it yeah. But I have a flashlight now.
Hell yeah.
Callum has bruises on his arms, finger marks. Someone has been hurting him. I've asked him, demanded really, to know where he got the marks. But he doesn't want to answer me. Something has scared him into silence. He doesn't dare talk. He's been changing too. Something sinister lurks in the darkness behind his eyes. I catch him staring at me at odd moments. In the night, he tosses and turns and cries out words that I cannot understand. When I try to soothe him, he snaps and bites at my fingers. I think he wants to talk to me. I think he wants to tell me. But they are watching him every minute of every day. They are whispering to him in his sleep, changing him. They are taking my baby away from me. I can't save him.
No, I heard something in the grass. What the hell was that?
In the end, you will understand why. The whole town was shocked by that one. Never found out who did it.
Oh. Well then. Oh. No. This part is definitely haunted.
You think so?
Yeah.
No, definitely not. It's just a normal park.
Uh-huh. Oh, hell to the no. Why? Why? Oh.
Oh, that's a dead body.
Oh, I banned the wrong person.
Oh no.
Sorry. I thought you were someone else. We had someone in the community the other time with the same name. Sorry. So we had someone with the same name.
Me.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't know if I banned that person, remember? They
Uh,
had the same name.
yeah, we had a problem person by a very similar name. We're sorry about that, Ruby.
Yeah, very similar. Like, almost exactly the same name. No, oh, one moment. I'll snooze that. So we had someone, who we share a community with, basically, who, found out some bad stuff, and they had almost the exact same name as you do.
Yeah.
Like, Ruby something something, but it was, like, the end was Ruby.
We apologize for
Yeah.
that.
I thought it was them because I didn't remember if I banned them or not. The last few weeks has been rough.
Yeah, very similar names. Very similar names.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't remember.
We apologize
Yes,
for
I'm
that.
very sorry. I don't remember. It was something Ruby though.
Pretty sure you've already banned them though. So
Yeah, no, but the thing is, I didn't remember. You know how my brain has been the last few.
I know. That's why I'm just
Mhm.
telling you that I think you already have, so you
Mhm.
don't have to worry about it.
But I'm deeply sorry. I thought you would the name was similar.
I just saw somebody new pop in and get the bonk, and I was like, "What's going on?"
It's not. Don't worry. I think a lot of
I don't think that they're trying to impersonate you. I think that they just have a similar name.
yeah. Yeah, they're not impersonating you. They're similar name.
But yeah, welcome on in, Ruby.
Mhm.
Hey, a dead body.
Poor bastard. Who did this to him?
Oh,
Oh.
it's they've been here before.
I can't believe you jumped the gun like that, honey.
Listen, I panicked. I feel bad.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm still deeply sorry. Sometimes I don't remember if I banned certain people or not. Yeah.
And you corrected the mistake as soon as you
Yeah.
noticed it.
Mhm. Hmm.
Don't ask me where you're supposed to go. I have no clue.
I don't know either. That's why I'm kind of just looking around.
I still think that there was something we're supposed to pick up near where that body was.
I took it.
I know you did.
It looks so cute. Jimmy. Look at the fan art channel.
Oh, I'll go look at it right now. Yeah, it looks amazing.
Hold on. Where have I built that?
That's a good question.
Sorry, I was just feeling overtasted. You're using it on the table to. I mean, to be fair, I actually do. When I have my elbows on the table, and it's not that uncomfy. A ad in 50 seconds, everyone. Okay, am I supposed to go back?
Hmm.
My heartbeat is very fast.
Yeah, you have something soft under your elbows. The only thing I need bruised from you is your knees.
Huh? Hey, I don't.
So I know where we are, I just don't know how to progress from here. That's that gate at the very beginning of the game that you couldn't get around.
Yeah. Oh, take pills. Oh
Big
no.
pills.
These are mine.
Hell yeah.
Oh God. Please
Eh,
tell me she didn't go nuts and kill her son.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Dad, whoa? What the hell is this? Okay. Only time I do whatever I'm told.
Don't
We all know you do what you're told, like a good girl. Am I in trouble?
You want to repeat yourself?
No, 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 I don't. Nope, I'm good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah?
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm great. Yeah.
One moment, I'm gonna let the ad play.
She wants to fight me, Chad.
Yes.
I'm sitting here being good, and she wants to fight me.
Dude! Dude! You wanna repeat yourself?
I'm sitting here on my best behavior and everything.
Uh-huh. See me. But
Such abuse, Chad.
you can look at the Austin and see Jeremy Undertale art.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks really good.
Yeah. Ba 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 ba.
I will be back in a minute or two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I thought it was Soundless do let you hear the audio beforehand. I believe. Yeah, but sometimes Soundless is just like, nope. No, you ain't new. But hello, how are you? What does vibing? Let me do some Sally Alleys.
I have returned.
Well, I'm back.
Sorry about that. I had to use the restroom.
You're fine.
Also, hi, Neural.
Back to the same.
Wonder if the newspaper's any different.
Callum, I'm sorry.
It
It
is.
is.
Oh. Tonight, day. Science little lady. Did love the mother. Ah,
Get love done.
what the hell is this? Oh. What is saying?
The park is a collage of contradictions all of its own. Millions of people die every year in car crashes, and the park has little cars designed specifically to simulate that action. Hear the children scream with joy. In the sideshow alley, you can walk away with 15 cents worth of mass-produced Chinese teddy bears, while a grinning carny pockets your hard-earned $5. What secrets lie beneath the sullen waters of the lake? The tears of jilted lovers, the soiled condoms of illicit affairs, the clotted blood of the lonely suicide. And the face of the witch looms over it all. I always despised her toothy grin and warty nose. I hate that sparkle in her weathered, watchful eyes. I think Callum is waiting for me. Inside.
Damn. Oh. A different scene? Oh, hell no. No.
What
No.
changed scene on you?
No.
Oh, shit.
No. No. No.
Oh, shit.
Penny,
You got this, my love. I believe in you.
enter the house of horror.
Yo, it's a page just like Slendy Man's.
I like to sell how all the streamers. So this is an abandoned paw. Oh.
There's Callum.
I missed it because my phone was turning itself off.
He's okay. So unpause the game.
Mhm.
You see that cat walk up above you?
Yeah.
He just walked. He ran across that.
Why?
Since you said you missed it, I got you.
No. This is some bullshit.
You got scared by the pop-up. What's wrong?
Let me call me out.
I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. I noticed that you paused the game, and it took me a second to realize it was because you zoomed in. It's your favorite thing, a werewolf.
That's a one ugly ass werewolf.
Arson just burned down the park. Kind of like Celeste's idea.
I need to. Oh.
Yo, the mirrors. Oh, fuck.
No, 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 no.
You got this,
I
honey.
walk away
It's
now.
okay.
I walk
Leaving
away.
you. No, no, you come back. Honey. Honey. There you are.
Mm.
She got jump scared. She got the spooked.
Oh.
Are the cutest, Celeste.
If someone is following me, I will make a homemade flamethrower. Don't test me.
Her little noises really are the cutest. Get smothered in all the love and affection.
You. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Honey, a light turned on. I love you, honey. You got this. I believe in you.
La 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 la.
I believe in you, honey. We all do.
La la.
You got this, my love.
Why did that open? Why did the hell that open? Why the hell that open? Why the hell that open?
Because it's the way you're supposed to go.
No. No.
Maybe he's friendly.
Dada. I don't want to go through that door. I don't want to go through that door. I don't want to go through that door. No. No, no, no. I didn't pay for this. Why does this part has a basement?
You got this, my love. I believe in you.
After they let me out, they gave me Callum back and sent me home with a handful of breadcrumbs. Home, bittersweet home. I barely recognized it. Where there had been color and light, there were shadows and regrets. Where there had been warmth, There was a bone-deep coldness that never went away. I tried my hardest to keep the ghosts at bay. Don, watching from the dusty corners while I tried to teach his son to read. My father, coldly assessing me and finding me lacking. I devoted myself to Callum and did the things that they told me. It will get better, they said. Every day will be a little better than the last. I'm in the woods now, lost and afraid. Things never got any better.
Right? Ooh, Woopa Tube.
Hooray, a puzzle!
Will team. No, I don't want to read it. Eh. A creepy ass doll. No.
Why can't we take the wrench to beat the fuck out of the things that are around us?
Ah. Yes.
Enjoy your lurk, Celeste.
No, thank you. Another basement?
It goes deeper and deeper.
No, thank you.
Well, this looks familiar.
You're not
Oh, hey,
taking the
it's the pill.
pills, then.
This looks familiar.
Yeah. The one's a song.
How did you not see that?
What?
Callum was standing right at that door.
Oh.
You just didn't even see him. Or at least something was standing right at that door.
Probably him. But you know, I'm dumb. No, thank you. It didn't mess you, more like
It's
dirty.
getting much more disheveled, yeah.
Oh, blood. Baby doll has no head.
Hey, I take that. It's Zoloft.
No, Lavender, we can't make the period show on the floor.
Oh God.
We can't make the period show. My dinner went away. Dad took me.
The door's already open this time.
Oh, I don't like that. It's a force of habit to like look at all the doors.
That's fair.
Oh,
Oh damn. Oh, that's creepy. Something you probably didn't notice is that the pictures, the children's drawings all over the walls have also been changing.
I noticed it a little bit, and probably like the books have been different, but I didn't really read them just because.
Yo, there's writing on the Rubik's Cube.
I don't want to read all of that. That takes time, and I don't pale. Oh no, thank you. Oh. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
What?
No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
You got this, my love. One step at a time.
Oh. Let me out. I can't. I'll tell you. Now I can't see what I'm doing. I can't. Oh. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this. No. No, thank you. I want out. We can leave the kid here. We can leave the kid here.
Oh, now there's people hanging.
And a bunch of water. Oh, Tay. I'm gonna be honest, the music kind of made it less creepy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, if people are making a horror game and you want people to be in it, take the music out. Or like make it very faint to where they can barely hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, different house.
Yo, there's books and shit.
Stories are told again
Lavender
and again,
lights.
and from their
Can I
shaky
just say
feel
here?
our
I'll be
understanding
happy.
of the world,
I don't need food or water or anything like
children
that.
are led into into the woods. They are lost for a time, but then are captured by an old witch. A child goes missing in Atlantic Island Park. He wanders lost for a time before finding his way into the mouth of an old witch. In the oldest version of this story, the mother and the witch were the same person. I never wanted to be the witch,
Oh.
but I am, aren't I?
Oh, okay.
That leads me to think that I was right in my assumption. Oh no.
What were your assumption again?
That she killed him.
Oh, hidden passages?
Secret tunnel.
See? Oh, tough scene.
Callum.
Oh no, I think I know what's about to happen. I'm holding your hand, my love.
Callum.
If people are very sensitive to very dark material, look away, sound off. I will type in chat because I know what's about to happen.
We will type in chat when things are over.
But if you
If
are
you're
not
sensitive to that sort of stuff, look
Yes.
away now.
if you are not in a good headspace at all, I highly recommend you do look away right now. Me or Z will type in chat once it's done.
Callum. Callum.
Look at them beady red eyes in the background.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, they're gone. Oh, I see. I was right.
Hello, Lee. The perfect time to come in. What a time to come into a game.
Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine.
One moment.
My energy drink stuff will be here on the 7th. The powder.
Don't blame yourself, Lorraine. People lose things all the time. Take a deep breath and think about the last place you saw your son.
Of course.
In my heart and mind, I always return to Atlantic Island Park.
You want me to type in chat now?
I already did.